Hey everybody, welcome back. Part number 6 of ICM's B-26B Marauder build. Now last week we done a ton of work to get things painted, so now we're going to work on some like ancillary items, like we're going to work on the gear, the props, the engines, all the other like little parts which go into the build. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so starting some of the smaller little projects now, and going back for the instructions. So first of all, there's the cannons on the side. Um, Two types. There's 54 and 55, and then 56 and 57. So the top set of two, I've marked with Sharpie, and on the inside here, if I find the right one, see I put a little Sharpie mark, so I know which one's which. Simply gluing those two pieces together, and got the cannons which do fit in afterwards. I did check, so we can paint these separately. Now, looking at the reference pictures, these are like metallic black, but the end is gold on these, or like a brassy gold. And as you can see, you can thread them through and paint them separately. So they're simple though, and then obviously we're not with my scheme, which is the third one. We've got a decal on the mouth, so these gone afterwards. Now, if you're doing schemes 1 or 2, you can glue this on before you paint the aircraft, I guess. And just although saying that, I mean it's going to be hard to mask around the gun barrel, so you're probably better adding it on last, no matter what. Now I think about it. So they just need to be primed and painted. Just be natural metal finish color to match the fuselage. And started work on the engine. Well, one of the engines. Now, two rounds, minor ones. Now, I mentioned this in a previous part, but the problem is with ICM, if I pull one sprue in for the other one, they're mounting stuff too close to the sprue runner. And it's hard to get these out. Now, I did found with a knife, you can't get sprue cutters in, but a knife, very carefully get in there. But with the pressure, it's often breaking the stuff. So again, if you're watching ICM, please just make this a millimeter bigger so you can get your sprue cutters in. Also, things like here, I mean, it's pretty impossible to kind of get these out. I mean, get these cleaned up in between there, the way it's attached. So again, with a knife, just very carefully kind of taking that out. And yeah, and again, here again, you can't get your sprue cutters in. It's too close. They're mounting them too close, which is a little bit of a bugbear. Yeah. And the second little round, which I totally get it. Everybody does it. ICM started doing their own paints. Now, I don't really want a new paint range. I don't want ICM paints, but they only put their own paint. They put the description, their own paint color in here. Before, I look at my kits from a couple of years ago. You had Tamiya, you had guns, you had like a breakdown of all different paint colors. So you have to kind of like interpret. So how I've kind of done some of these colors, I've just basically pulled up, Googled the color, ICM color, and looked at my screen, which isn't always the best because every computer screen is slightly different, and try to kind of match it up, or from the description, match up what color I need. So gone through my paint range here and kind of pick the best colors out. So kind of build these in sub-assemblies by color. So like this guy's all gonna be the same color. So I built these 4 pieces together. These two, glued that together. This together. Now this one, it's kind of hard. Those kind of 2 pieces kind of just have a little clip on the top there. Again, it's all the same color. So I kind of put it in color range. So I'm gonna get more primed up. Now with metallics, I do like to prime black. Just makes the metallic look a little bit better. And I've kind of gone through here and marked out the colors from the instructions. Like, so H is gunmetal, L is dark sea gray, and so on. So how I kind of go through my paints here to kind of show you what I've got going on. So gunmetal, which is H, I'm going to use Tamiya LP19 gunmetal. I mean, you can use that. So I'm using LP19 gunmetal. Next color up is natural steel. Steel, I just like Super Iron 2 from which is 203 from, again, lacquer paint from guns. So this is my natural steel, which would be F in the instructions. Dark sea gray, L, closest, I guess, XF54. And I'm going to weather all this stuff anyway, so you have to be straight on. So L, dark sea gray, is going to be XF54. Okay, so oily steel. Looked at these on ICM on a website, and it looks like maybe a LP69 has this like titanium silver I've gone with, has like a slight kind of like goldy maybe tint to it. So again, I'm going to weather this up. So I've gone with LP63 titanium silver for the oily steel. The internal N, which is the basically inside this piece, is going to be the interior color I'm using, which is 58, Mr. Hobby 58 Aqueous. Now this is the same as the interior color we use for the aircraft, and we can use it for the wheel wells as well. And finally, go my instruction, pale blue, which is R. Now I've looked, it's just again looking, it's kind of hard to pick it out, but I'm going with XF19 Sky Gray. I know it's a gray, but I mean, it's very pale. It says pale blue, but it's like a bluey gray color. But again, it's just going by what I see on the screen. So 6 colors. So a lot of detail going on here. So I'm going to prime all this up, get them all painted, airbrushed, painted, and then we come back and come assemble it all. Now, because we're assembling painted parts, I'm probably going to use super glue just to tack it all together so the paint doesn't all run and go weird. Okay, so I've got one engine built up. Need to add a little wash to it. And it's looking pretty nice. Now, the way it all goes together, the structures aren't very clear, so I just kind of just threw it together. You're not going to see much anyway. And again, I have one closed up, one open, so the best one I'll have open. But looking good, all different colors and stuff. Again, needs a little bit of a wash. There we go. So that one's done. I started cutting pieces off and preparing the second engine. What else here? Got these guys put together and a drop of gold to the tip, like I mentioned earlier, for the color. So I've got 4 of those guys done. They'll get put in a box with the turret so I don't lose them. Props I got built up. Just going to add the centerpiece. And basically I'm going to paint the whole thing black, then mask off the center, paint it silver, and then do the tips yellow. So 2 props. And finally see the wheels. So I got the wheels put together. And this is actually really nicely done. So you've got the hub separate, but normally you have to kind of put them from the inside, but these fit perfectly on the outside. So I can paint the wheel rubber black, and then the center is going to be aluminum. And you can see they just fit absolutely perfectly. So once they're painted, put it in there, and you have a perfectly done wheel. And same with a nose wheel, same thing. But yeah, it fits perfectly on the outside there. Yeah, nice fit and nicely done. So yeah, interesting way they've done the wheel. So really cool with that one. So I'm gonna get some more stuff painted up. I got these parts ready to go. Get the second engine built, get the props painted up, wheels done, and yeah, making good progress here. Oh, and you see, I did spill a jar of Tamiya XF54 over my hand. So yeah, there's all fun and games. Okay, so I've built and painted the gear and the wheels, and I must say these wheels are probably the nicest model wheels I've ever built in a plastic kit. To be honest with you, they go together perfectly, and that, like I showed you earlier, the way that goes on the outside is genius and it fits really nice. So I painted them up rubber black, obviously. Normally I'll paint probably LP11 for the center caps, but I didn't want to do that because the whole aircraft's LP11. I just wanted different tones of metals, so I did use the my steel color, which is 203 Super Iron Mr. Hobby. Now I sprayed the gear with that and the center hubs. And what I did afterwards, I didn't want to kind of put, I kind of like the finish on that, so I didn't want to put any kind of clear coat. So I just added it's my ultra varnish matte, very dull matte, just neat in my airbrush, just spray the tires with that. So I do like to clear coat the tires at least, because you know they sit on the table or the shelf and they might get rub and stuff and paint might come off. So I'd like to clear coat them. So I just carefully did the tires and not the metal work, left that as is. So we obviously have 2. And I will add a little bit of a black wash or maybe Starship Fill wash later on, just to pick out that detail as well. And I've got the nose wheel here too. Now, this ICM plastic, it's kind of soft. I'm a little nervous, but this is going to support the weight of the aircraft, what nose weight in. It's a big aircraft. We'll see. Keep our fingers crossed. Worst case scenario, hopefully we can get maybe some brass metal gear if these break, but they should be okay. It came on a kit, so I'm assuming they are. Just yeah, maybe a piece of metal might be just a little bit more sturdier, but do like it. Again, came out beautifully. Really happy with those. Now I'm gonna put these back up because I'm not sure the clear coat's fully dry on those tires yet. So let me just put it back in my rack. I have started painting the second engine, but also I painted the props. And there's one. And this is basically how I did it. Masked up the center, masked up the middle, so I left the center and the ends, and sprayed the center with, again, same 203 steel color. And the whole thing was painted first in Mist Surface of 1500 black because I like the black finish. I think it kind of comes out nice. And the ends, them done. Well, I don't want to spray yellow onto the black because it's hard to cover, so I just spray some white first. Once that dried, I came back with the usual Tamiya XF3. Thin coat, let it dry for an hour, come back, do a second coat, and this is ready to peel off as well. But it kind of gives you an idea of, just basically mask the two ends, fill it in with some masking tape, and just spray the middle and then the tips. And that's the props. And there we go. That's kind of where I'm at now. So I do notice there's a lot of overspray on here, so I do need to fix that. And I'll unwrap this one as well. But yeah, making good progress here. Just got to build that. Really got to build that second engine, and we're good to go. All right. So carry on here. We're going to add a little bit of weathering to all these metal parts we've been working on. Now the props I did paint up out of decals and clear coated, and yeah, and engines. God. So I'm working the other engine. It's just so hard to build these engines. They're very fragile, and it just doesn't really show you very clearly where stuff goes. I mean, it's a little bit kind of confusing. So just kind of putting stuff where I think it goes, but I mean, I don't know how it's going to turn out. If it's going to fit okay, but again, it's just very. There's not really attachment points, and it's very vague in the instructions. But anyway, I'm going to add a black wash to all of this stuff now. Oil wash using Abteilung black. Now, don't go buy like the MIG ammo or the AK like little jars of like oil paints, because all it is a little bit of this with some enamel thinner, and it evaporates over time, and it just, I don't know about you, but after a year or two, they just like basically just a hard bit of pigment at the bottom of the jar. So just make your own. It's way cheaper. So all Starship Felt's one of my go-to colors, and I do like black for metallic parts. So all you're going to do is very simply take a tiny bit of paint, just dab it, like barely anything, and you're going to take some enamel thinner, a good quality enamel thinner. Now, I just use Tamiya X20 blue top, not to be confused with X20A, which is the acrylic one. And just going to add some of the thinner, and lean over, get my brush, mix it up, and then it needs to be like translucent. I said this in other parts, but if you just basically run it across here, you can see it kind of how it can, you see kind of through it almost. And that's the thickness. You don't want it super thick, and that's all you need. And then simply just going to tap it on the part here, and it's going to dry back, and it's going to look pretty awesome. But again, a fraction of the cost of fooling around with those jars of enamel paints. Just make your own. That's one wheel done. Now it looks a little aggressive, but trust me, once it evaporates, it's going to look a lot better. I'm trying to keep it off the tire if possible. Get in all the recesses, just brush it over here, all the steel. It's going to look pretty good once it's dried up. Another one done. Get the nose wheel guy done. Just dabbing it on. And the props, we're just going to do the center, the metallic parts in the center. Okay, we're just going to rest those up against something. And the center of the engines. This gunmetal is quite dark, so I'm not sure exactly how much you're going to see of this. I'm just going to add a bit around the edge here too. And same with this one. And that is it. So as you can see again, so I'm gonna let all this dry for a couple of hours, come back and see how we're looking. All right, it's been a couple of hours and the oil's dry, and as you can see, it does a great job picking out that detail on the gear. So that's all done. And moving along, I've started work on all the doors. Now, the bomb bay doors and the nose and main landing gear bay doors, where possible, I like to, you see my models when I build stuff, I like to do it on the sprue. This one's not so bad, but when you come to like, say, I don't know, like a modern fighter jet where there's tons of different doors and stuff, I like to keep them on the sprue and paint it. Not only is it easier, but then I know what number it is, and when it comes to like, it's 3 or 4 which make up the main wheel well, it makes things a little bit easier when it comes to adding them on, know which part's which. So sorry, I'm just looking here in the light. So I've got them all painted up, interior and exterior, per the same color as the fuselage, and I've weathered it. Well, I haven't weathered it yet, but I've sprayed that same satin coat so it's going to match, and I'm going to weather it exactly the same with a black wash. On the sprue here, again, all the other little pieces seem like all the little struts and everything for the gear bay and holding the doors open and stuff. All these guys painted up again on the sprue, just makes things a little bit easier identifying them. And on here, these pieces actually cut off and sprayed. Again, these are nose gear and main gear doors. Painted green on the inside and the same fuselage color LP11 on the outside. So just need to let them dry a little bit longer, I think, and then I'm just going to come back and weather it. And like I said, the usual same black wash, like we do, exactly the same as we do with the fuselage. And now I say that, I think the way I'm going to release the videos, it's actually the opposite. I'm actually going to release this video before I do the main weathering for the main aircraft video. So you know what? If you hold on to like a couple more parts, I think maybe part 7, I think it is, when we do the weathering, or part number 8. I lost track of it. Part 7 or 8, and I actually go through it in detail how I weather it. So I won't do it twice. So I will do these pretty much the same way, and at the very end, we're going to add these on the final part. All the sub-assemblies here will be added to the main fuselage to wrap the build up. So yeah, just thought about that. So there we go. So that's what I got work going on. So I can get all these pieces painted up, and then yeah, making good progress, and then we'll be ready to kind of have them put them to the side, and then once the main fuselage is finished, we'll go ahead and just basically super glue it all on at the very end. All right, so a bit of abrupt end in this video. So obviously went through those stages, and then I built this in different ways. I edited it differently to how I built it. So the engines, that kind of stuff, I built them, and then I ended up putting them onto the aircraft and finishing the model. So I'm obviously filming this after the fact. So a little bit disjointed, but I kind of covered a few little areas here. And next time we'll get on to the next phase of the build, the main fuselage, and get it put together. There's total nine episodes, I think, in this build series. And next few, we're going to have one about weathering, paint weathering, what else? All the final touches, and we'll do a final reveal. So just, again, kind of disjointed way I edited this, but yeah, I'm going to end this video right now, and we'll be back next week with the next part. So thank you always for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye.